What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Jersey Joe Show, a place where we talk about a little bit of everything, but mostly hockey. My name is Jersey Joe, and tonight we're going to be talking about the Western Conference finalists, the Anaheim Ducks, and their relatively quiet offseason in tonight's 31-31 series. So what to say about the Anaheim Ducks? They, for years now, have been making the second round of the playoffs, making the Western Conference Finals, usually taking either the Kings or the Predators to 7 games in the Western Conference Finals and falling short. They lost Boudreau, they brought in a new coach. You'd think they would be able to solve that, but this year they couldn't solve the Predators, and so going into next season, we're left wondering, what kind of a team are they going to be? Where are they going to go from here? Have they been improved? Have they declined? Are they the same team? They just need to work on getting luckier or clicking or getting a better system? We don't really know. They're actually one of the more questionable teams. So let's look at the arrivals and the departures. So you have Ryan Miller, Dennis Rasmussen, Steve Alexi, and Derek Grant coming in. And on the departure side, we have Shea Theodore, Nate Thompson, Clayton Stoner, which I'm sure many Ducks fans are happy about, and Jonathan Bernay, all coming off the books. So one of the more topical ones, I guess we could say, is the arrival of Ryan Miller. He is replacing Bernier as the backup goaltender for Gibson, but Miller has always been a starting goaltender. This is the first time he is woefully accepting the backup role. And maybe he sees the writing on the wall. He saw that backup goaltending had a lot to do with why the Ducks lost last year. And he's hoping to maybe get a cup with the Ducks next year if he comes on as their backup, because Gibson's a fairly decent starting goaltender. He's not top 5, but he's up there. And so if you have another essentially starting goaltender as your backup, your back end's looking pretty damn tight. And then if you have the defense that the Ducks have, you're looking at one of the top 3 teams for goals against in the entire league, bar none. I think maybe Calgary and maybe it used to be St. Louis, but I'm not even sure if anyone but the Predators match the defense that the Ducks have now. And so getting into the defense, that's really where a lot of the interesting things happen this offseason. So if you didn't know, they lost Shea Theodore to the Vegas Knights, in addition to losing Clayton Stoner, because Stoner has been on LTIR for a number of years, and so they no longer have his $3.5 million contract in the books, and that all went to Vegas. So they did lose an up-and-coming D-man in Theodore, but they also gained some cap space. And then they utilized that cap space to sign Cam Fowler to an 8-year contract. And so when people hear about Cam Fowler being signed, they think, wow, they locked up Anaheim's best defenseman for almost the next decade. That's great. And then when I hear that, I think to myself, Fowler's not their best D-man. He's not even close to being the best defenseman on the Ducks. Offensively, yeah, there's an argument for him being the most offensively gifted D-man on Anaheim, but he has nothing on Lindholm, at least with the metrics that I've seen for Lindholm. I think Lindholm is the best defenseman under 25 right now, bar none. He is light years away of anyone else in his draft class, the year before, the year after. And he suffers from the defense-first mentality in terms of media coverage. Most people don't care about stats. They don't care about how well of a defensive player you are. They don't care about anything but how many points you score. And if they don't see that goals and that assists going up every year, they don't give a shit about you. And that's just every sport's like that. No one cares about defense. Defense isn't flashy. It's not sexy. You're not going to see highlight reels for defensive plays. But if you take a look at the underlying metrics, if you take a look at his Corsi, if you take a look at his possession numbers, Lindholm is a top of the line defenseman. And I would do anything to get him on my team. He is absolutely fantastic, and he's only 23 years old. He still hasn't even hit his prime yet, and he is this amazing shutdown defensive backender for Anaheim. And there's not nearly enough people talking about him. There's some whispers over the past couple of months, especially when he came back from his injury last fall. Some people were saying, yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good, but he's still not at all near the level of the media attention that he should be getting. And yes, he is a bit injury prone, and that is a worry. But if he's 100% healthy this season, he's going to be making headlines. Not because of offensive play, but just because of how damn good he is in his own defensive end. He is not going to be showing up on those score sheets, but if you're a true fan of the game, if you're a true Anaheim Duck fan, you so appreciate what Lindholm does for you. And so going into next season, I'm not sure what Anaheim's going to do. Like I said, they could be the same exact team going into next season. I think they will be. Not much has really changed besides the backup goaltending situation. And if they do that, I mean, they'll do pretty good. They'll fight for a 1 or 2 slot in the Pacific, and they'll go on to the Western Conference Finals most likely. And maybe this is their year to get into the Stanley Cup Finals. I do think that Nashville's the better team in the West right now. I do think that Calgary may actually give them a run for their money. They now have a Connor McDavid Edmonton Oilers team to face off 4 times a year, so the competition's a bit stiffer. But the LA Kings are falling off. Vancouver's not even within their sights right now. They're so far below them. And there is a real chance, again, for the Ducks to get up there. Now, there's 2 key points that I need to make in terms of Anaheim and what they do next year. The first one is that Corey Perry needs to become Corey Perry again. He had 19 goals last season, where he was averaging at least around 30 goals for every season before that. He pretty much cut his goal production in half in a single year. So when you see that stiff of a drop-off, you can't help but think maybe he just got snake-bitten. Maybe he just had bad luck. They did have a new coach. It was some growing pains. We don't know. I don't think anyone can decline with half their production being gone in a single season. So I do think Corey Perry's numbers are going to rise next season. If they do, obviously that bodes well for Anaheim. But he's getting older. Getzlaf is getting older. Their core is not as young as it was 2, 3, 4 years ago when they were facing off against Chicago in the Western Conference Finals. And so I'm left wondering, how many years left is their window? Are they going to be the same team in 2 years from now? Are they still going to be the top of the Pacific, fighting for that Western Conference Final spot, fighting for the Stanley Cup spot in the West like they usually have been for the past 4 years? I don't know. And I don't know enough about their depth chart. I don't know enough about their prospects to really say for sure that I feel comfortable betting on the Ducks being a good team 4 years from now. There's a lot of questions with the Anaheim team. I think this is the end of their window, at least in the next year or two. As much as I'd like to be proven wrong, looking at their roster, I just don't think it is. So hopefully the Ducks pull through the season. They give it their all, and the defense steps it up. And their defense is young. I have to give them that. And so if they want to stop being a power forward, aggressive forechecking team and become more of a structured defensive-oriented team like the Kings were in 2014, they may make it work for another 6 years. I don't know. But as of now, the writing on the wall is that the Ducks need to win a cup in the next 3 years, or they may not have a chance to do so for a very long time. And so that being said, that is the Anaheim Ducks going into next season. And this is the Jersey Joe Show, and I will be doing one of these every single night for the next 31 days. So stay tuned, and I'll have another one for you guys tomorrow night. Take care.